Hey, what's up, y'all? Ray here from Grace Dynamics. So, quick little note before we get to the video. One, thank you to Alex for sending this over in beta form so that I can get a chance to review it and get a chance to test it. It has been excellent. I've used it on a plethora of wheels and I think you'll enjoy it too. I wanted to clarify something I kind of pointed out in the video, but this will be great for all wheel manufacturers. And why? Because right now, as we know, if you wanted Alex to program something for your wheel, you'd have to send him the exact wheel in order for him to program it. Well, moving forward, Alex at ATSR will no longer need you to send him your wheel. So you'll be able to get these really cool, unique profiles people can add on themselves. And if you want further customization, if you want further profiles, if you want something that is really custom to your wheel, well, you can work with Alex at ATSR and you can do that quite easily. So absolutely think this is going to be cool. You guys check out the video on how to do it. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, Alex, join my Discord, join his Discord, and somebody will assist you. I'll talk to you guys afterwards. Later. Peace. Today we're going to work with another brand that I absolutely love, Velocitas Imperium, and their RSR wheel, and we'll show you how I got the lights and animations on it using the new ATSR Hub Evo. First things you're going to do, go to his Discord. I'll include a link down below so you can go ahead and download the new ATSR Hub Evo DLL. It's very easy. It's similar to the original ATSR Hub. All you're going to do, very simply, download the ATSR Hub evo.dll file, and you're going to drop it into your SimHub folder. And it's as very simple as go into SimHub. You'll see all of these wonderful files, and you'll see I have dropped in the ATSR Hub Evo. You'll also see that on here I have the original ATSR Hub. You can keep the original if you still want to use it, but you also can use the Hub Evo. So either or is perfectly fine. The original Hub will no longer be serviced because he'll be focusing all his attention on Evo, which once you start using it, it's a significantly better plugin for SimHub. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get into that. But before we do that, I do want to say ATSR Hub Evo will have two tiers, a free tier and a paid tier. And we'll talk about the free tier and the paid tier, and it's very simply. Free tier gives you the ability to set up one device of everything. One button box, one DDU, one flag, set of browse, a wheel, and so forth. And you'll see the category. The paid tier will give you access to everything, meaning you can create as many devices as you want, and it's $4 a month. Now, I don't know about you, I've been paying content for people to make these things for a while now. I've never used some others. I've used ATSR Hub for quite some time, and I think it's well worth the price. But that's up to you to determine, but you will be able to use it as a free member and not have to pay anything. So for everybody, there is going to be something for you, but we'll go over how you set this all up. So once you drop in the file into your SimHub folder, you open it up. You're going to make sure that SimHub is closed. When you open it up, it's going to pop up, give you a little window asking if you want to accept it in and if you want to put it on the side window. Obvious use to say yes. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to ATSR Hub, and this is what it is. And originally, you're going to pop it up and click on, it's going to show nothing here. You're going to click on add new device, or in the screen, it's going to say add new device. Now, what you'll see in here are all these different profiles, right? Universal, DDU, steering wheel, ambient light, flag matrix, button box, brow profiles. For these, you get to set up one of each of these if you have the free profile. That simply means if you have a set of brow lights, you can set up one set of brow lights. If you have a flag matrix, you can set a flag matrix box profile. A universal wheel, maybe he doesn't have that wheel currently in his plethora of wheels, which now we have the Gray Wolf in addition to the Picorni wheels, and we'll have some others in here really soon. But again, in here, you can set up these universal profiles to work, and then if you have a 499, you can select it. And again, with the free tier, if you have the 499, the Hype R, the Gray Wolf, and the X29, and you have the free tier, you'll only be able to set up one of these at a time, meaning this will be your active one, and if you set it as active, that's going to be it. You can go ahead and delete that one and then create it and then use a different one, but you can't have them both simultaneously active at the same time. And that's where the paid tier will come in hand. So I would recommend the paid tier, but that is completely up to you. So from here, what we're going to do is this wheel does not exist, right? I already have it mapped here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this device because I've already set it up and I can do it again. I have no profile that is set up on this wheel. It's a very simple process once you get used to it, but the first time you do it, it's going to feel clunky and cumbersome and it's going to be quite annoying. But what we're going to do is we're going to map this wheel from beginning. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on add a device. But this is what I'm going to recommend you do first before you do any of the creating in ATSR Hub. I will recommend that you go in and you go to you create a dash, or not a dash, sorry. You're going to go into your specific device. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to look for my RSR wheel. Here's my RSR wheel. Don't mind the photo, it'll be updated once the wheel is actually released. But from here, we're going to go to LEDs. We're going to edit a profile. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an effect, a simple effect. And I'm going to add active ABS. And here's why you're going to do that. We're going to go to Open Test Editor. We're going to turn on Game Running. And we're going to turn on ABS as active. This will start this in position 1. What you're going to need to know is where position 1 is and what pattern or what sequence it takes to get there. So this is my position 1. And you'll want to remember that when you start setting up ATSR Hub Evo. Because position 1, I'm going to then click on the plus and see where everything goes. Now I don't have to count them necessarily because I'm going to see that that's position 1, that's position 2, that's position 3. So I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep track of where everything is going. Oh, well, now it goes down here. So for each wheel, it may go to a different location. So you're going to want to note which direction it is going. Okay, so it's going to go to the first button. How many lights are behind here? There are 4 lights behind this button. I know that because I've done it, but there are 4 lights behind here, 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 and here. So we're going to keep following it all the way, see which way it goes. Then it goes to this side. There are lights over here. We're going to go up. It has 4 lights. Then it's going to map to this top one. And again, you may want to write it down. You may want to have a notepad. You may want to have something that allows you to understand how many are behind each button, how many you have, where it starts at. You'll be able to see where there's LED and telemetry lights. And then we're going to just count how many there are in here. So I'm going to go back and we know that after getting through here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this one's different. On this particular wheel, this is a multi-position switch, and they all are, but this has 12 individual LEDs behind it because each LED will represent one particular part on this particular multi-position switch. On yours, it may be different. It may be all the same. It may be 4 lights. It may be 6. It may be 12. It may be 13. It just all depends. So we're going to keep going on through till we see how many lights are there. And there's no more lights lighting up. So there are 86 individual LEDs that I now see are on here. I now know the pattern. It goes all the way this way, comes down this way where there are 4 behind each one. Then it comes up here, it comes up here, it comes up here, it comes up here. So now I know the pattern of how things go. I know there are 6 LEDs behind this, and then the last one there are 12. So you're going to want to keep a mental note of that. But this little box here, you can put this off to the side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it behind my photo of myself. I'm going to put the test editor, same thing. I'm going to put it down here. So you may see me reference it or touch it with my mouse and it triggers some effects. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn off the test data. We're going to go back to ATSR Hub Evo. And from here, now again, I've deleted that wheel. Now you can see I have a litany of wheels here that I am either testing or they're just my own devices that I use. And we're going to click on Add New Device. From here, we're going to say, hey, my wheel doesn't exist. We're going to say we're going to do a universal wheel profile. And again, if you have a membership, you can map as many as you want. You would go ahead and click on this link here and it'll connect and link to your Ko-Fi membership, but your Ko-Fi will link to Discord, and then your Discord, you'll link that to his Discord community so that it validates that you have active membership, and all of it will be talking to one another. I have no idea how it takes place on the back end, but you'll want to make sure you have that if you're going to have multiple different wheels and devices and things like that that aren't one from each group. So we'll click on Universal Wheel Profile. Now mine has a screen, yours may not, so you'll want to go ahead and pick the one that works for you. We're going to hit next page. From here, it's going to say, okay, device layout. How many buttons do I have along the side? Now, if your buttons don't have LEDs here, maybe you only have LEDs here and LEDs here, then what buttons you put here will matter for push identification of things that triggers, but it won't matter for LEDs behind them. But we're going to say I have 5 buttons. Now we're going to choose the offset, basically how spaced out they are. Now mine are spaced out all the way down the side. Granted, my funky knob's in the middle, but we're not going to worry about that because it doesn't have any backlights behind it. It doesn't trigger anything. Now we have these telemetry lights. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to say we have, well, actually, that would be here for RPM LEDs. So we're going to say we have 10, and then we have 3 telemetry LEDs. So 1, 2, 3. You can use the slider to drag it. Now, it's going to say how many encoders do we have, top and bottom. We're going to say we have 2 here and 2 here. It's not spaced apart looking exactly like my wheel, but it's very similar. So from there, we have everything selected and mapped, everything from all the LEDs. We're going to hit next page. Now, here's what's really nice. When I first had this, you had to put in your VID and PID. Now you no longer have to. It simply recognizes what devices are connected. I'm going to connect the VIRSR. Now it's going to have my VID and PID number directly here. Now, with the next thing being said, what you're seeing on the screen is 2 things. One, it detects a device, and it says buttons 104 and 116 are pressed. Now that has to do with the multi-position switch, right? Because these things are always active depending on what you do. So many of them are always active because they're multi-position switches and things like that. So as you can see, these are both multi-position switches. So it's detecting both of these because they're resting on a location. These are set up as regular encoders. Now on this particular wheel, it has DDC. So you can do a litany of things that I am not savvy with. But so that's how it works here. And that will matter. And we'll talk about that because you're also going to want to know when you switch a button or an encoder, what triggers. And that's something you'll use either the controllers app to do, but if you're fast enough to see, like, all right, I'm turning this way, it's 42. When I turn it to the right, it's button 43. And we'll talk about why that's important here in just a second, but we're going to click on next page. From here, now we've got to map all of these elements, right? Bear in mind, we remember how the light pattern went. It went this way, came up this way, went down this way, then it went top, bottom, right? 6, 6, 6, 12 lights. So we want to remember that when we start mapping these, and this is very important. So I'm going to click on the first LED because it started here. I have 3 telemetries, 10 RPMs, 3 telemetry, right? So we're going to say, well, at this, which is this location here, this is position 0. LEDs always start at 0, not 1. So remember that. That starts at 0. So then the next one would be position 1. The next one would be position 2. Now, RPMs are different because they're all grouped together. We know we have 10 starting here. So if this was position 1, that was position 2, that was position 3. That position 1, that was position 2, this would be position 3. So 0, 1, 2. Make sure I map that correctly. And then this would start at position 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This would be the 13th one. I recommend a keyboard close by so that you can simply highlight, because as the numbers get up, you don't want to keep clicking. So all we're doing at this point is we're simply just mapping the numbers, knowing that this was LED 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we start here, 13, 14, 15. So let's do this one more. 0, 1, 2, boom, 13, 14, 15. Now everything is mapped. If you map it to the wrong one, it'll go red because it's telling you that, wait a minute, there's collisions detected, meaning you have two of these mapped to the exact same number. You don't want to do that. That's going to make it so that you can't get through this and apply any of the settings. So now we've got the RPM set up. And again, the direction of how your buttons go will vary for each wheel, but I do want to be thorough with you so you understand how it works. The next thing we're going to do is, we know on this wheel, it started at the bottom down here. So knowing that we ended on number 15 here, then this one would be button 16. But here's the thing. How many LEDs were behind each button? Well, we know that there were 4, because as we were scrolling through, you could see 1, 2, 3, 4 LED lights behind each button. So we're going to say we're starting at number 16, because that's our next in line. We're going to say there are 4 LEDs behind this button. And we know all of these elements are buttons. So then what we're going to do is we're going to say apply to all elements of the same type. These are all buttons. These are encoders. So all of these buttons now will automatically map the 4 LEDs that are assigned. So we finished at 15, we went to 16, to 19. The next one we're going to go up to is 20. Right? So I recommend, let's do all of the LEDs first. And we're just saying 16 to 19, 20 to 23, 24 to 27, 28 to 31. This is 32 to 35. We now know that we went from bottom to top, bottom to top. So we're going to say 36. Now again, sometimes like me right now, I'm like, wait a minute, is this the proper way that it went? We can always test it in here, and I can use the data tester again to see, like, if you forget which way something goes, I can just go back to the tester, and you want to leave it open because if you close it out, yep, so we go bottom to top and into here. We're going to turn it back off. So this is why I recommend leaving the tester open, because my brain had a brain fart. And let's go ahead and get all of these mapped. Okay. So we've mapped 36, 39, 40, 43, 44, 47, 48, 51, 52, 55. All of these are now mapped. Now, we know that using the tester, it went here next. So this would be LED 56. We know that these encoders had 6 behind them, and this one had 12. So instead of this being 56 to 56, because we're saying it had 1, we're going to say it had 6 LEDs and apply it to all. Now we'll change the last one because we know this one here had 12. But these were used as regular encoders, and we'll talk about why that's important shortly. But let's continue mapping numbers. So 62, 68, and then we're going to say 74. Now, this one had 12. So we're going to say this one had 12 locations. So it ends at 85. But this isn't an ordinary encoder. This actually is a 12-position multi-position switch, which is great. This one also is a 12 multi-position switch as well. So what we can do is say there are 12 positions behind this, but again, the problem is the LEDs won't map up. It's being used as a regular encoder. And again, we can say there are 12 multi-position switches, but if you do that, currently, it's going to limit the LED count. It's going to say it's 12. So we're going to map this as a regular ordinary encoder, because although it's a multi-position switch that is used as a multi-position switch for LED purposes, it is not being used that way. So now that we have done this, and I'm going to reduce this back to 6 so we don't get any collisions, now we can see that LED setup is complete. It's ready to apply. But before we get to that, you probably want to do something else, and that's this bottom portion where it says input settings, right? So because these are buttons, unlike LEDs that just have LED targets, these are all buttons. And the reason why this is important, as we know, let's say, for example, on my wheel, this is my pit limiter, right? This, when I push it, I want it to do a pit action, meeting I want it to light up and blink when I'm in the pits, and then once I hit the pit limiter, I want it to trigger some animations on my wheel. Then when I exit the pits, I want to hit it again, and then everything goes back to normal lighting. When I hit flash, I want it to flash a few times to let me know that I'm flashing somebody. When I turn on the lights and I hit the headlights on, maybe this turns on, it stays on onto a specific color. It goes from, green to blue to let me know that my headlights are on, and then back to green. Whatever the case may be. All of these can be mapped to do specific functions, but it has to be recognized by an input from the wheel. So in order to do that, what we have to do is we have to say, okay, what is this doing that's doing something, so that we can fix the inputs, right? So for example, this button here, if I push it, now I can see what button and input this actually is. So for example, if I push here, I see that's button 12. So now I'm going to go into this button input ID, and I'm going to say, well, that's button 12. It's just like for like. We're going to do the same thing. This is button 11. This is button 10. Let's keep mapping. Button 9. Now, some wheels, I'll be honest with you, it's not that straightforward. My Cube Controls wheel, not that nice. It is rather complicated because they jump all over the place. So this is button 17. This is button 16. 15, 14, 13. Cool. We've mapped that. Now, this is a regular encoder. So we're going to scroll down. I want to say that's button 43. I can see it blinking, and that's button 42. So if I go left, it's 42. If I go right, it's 43. These don't have push function, so I'm going to leave this as -1. Go to the next one. 45, 44. So we're going to say 44 left, 45 right. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. This is a multi-position switch. Currently, that is mapped as. It only has 6 LEDs behind it. Since it only has 6 LEDs, I'm not going to map this one to trigger a function, although I could. But what's going to happen is it's only going to map currently if I do one particular button at a time. So I have opted to leave this out for an input setting, although you'll still get the lights and animations and things like that. It just won't trigger anything because currently, if I set it to 12 positions, it's going to expect that it has 12 LEDs behind it, and it's going to throw off the count, but it actually doesn't. So I'm going to leave it as an ordinary encoder and recommend that Alex maybe makes it so that I can have a 12 position, but it doesn't mean that the positions map to LEDs, which I'm pretty sure will be some complex coding. So I like it the way it is, but I do want to share that. So this one I'm not going to map, because again, and we're going to make that 6 so I don't get any conflicts. But I am going to go back to this one here. Since we did map this as a 12 position multi-position switch encoder, so this one has it's a 12 position, but it has 1 LED per position. If it had 2 LEDs per position, then it would be different, but it's only 1 LED per position that's located. We're going to also say, are the LEDs clockwise or counterclockwise or anti-clockwise? Well, this goes clockwise, which is fine. But if it went counterclockwise, again, the way you would test that is you would simply trigger an effect, see which way it goes, and we can see that it goes clockwise. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So we're going to say, okay, it goes clockwise. We're going to say the first LED starts at position 104. 104. And it should show you, because it maps it, because it's 12 positions, to 115. And then we're done. Now that we've done everything, do not hit apply settings first. We're going to go ahead and click on export preset. And we're going to type this one as test. Because you want to save the preset in case you make a mistake, and I'll show you why. So we're going to label that test underscore preset, hit save. Apply settings, hit OK. And we're going to label this test. Hit OK. So now we have a wheel here, right? So before you do anything else, I would recommend go ahead and map the buttons the way you want them to be, and then we'll get into downloading a profile, because right now you see no effects. So we're going to open the effect editor, and again, with ATSR Hub, there's a million different things you can do. You can change the color settings, you can have custom themes, you can see the themes of the devices I have behind me. We'll talk about that in a second. But again, this is the stuff you're likely going to want to know first. A lot of the stuff you'll play around with and manipulate and things like that. So we're going to go open effect editor. What we're going to do now is, this is my pit button. So I'm going to click on that effect and I'm going to say pit. This is my mic. There's no effect for a microphone. I'm going to say press. And for the things that I have a kill button here, I just didn't know what to do with it. I have a lot of options with buttons, and sometimes, like, yeah, it doesn't matter to me. So we're going to just select a bunch of different things. Press. Now this I have flash. So there's a headlight flash. This is wipers. And this is my headlights. Boom. Now, this one I have pulse. This one I have pulse. This one I have pulse. And this one I have as an absolute position. This is a multi-position switch. Very simple. And then you can set any secondary functions, what you want to flash. Again, you can have secondary functions for these here. Right now it's red line, flag notification, and pit limiter. You can set it to let you know when you hit ABS or traction control, things like that, similar to the original ATSR Hub. So I'm going to hit OK here. Now we've created some animations. We've created the button presses, what will happen when I trigger one of these functions to happen. And again, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to click on download the LED profile. We're going to download it. It's ATSR test underscore profile. So I'm going to hit save. I'm going to go into my devices. I'm going to now make sure I'm on my ATSR VI RSR. I'm going to hit import profile. I'm going to go to where I save mine. I see my test profile. I'm going to hit open, and boom. Everything is set. It now matches all the theme stuff I've done with other devices. I now can push buttons. And when I push it, pit won't work because I'm not in game. But I had these set to flash. I had these set to pulse animation when I rotate them. So now I didn't map this one at the moment. I can map it, and I'll work on that piece because that's a multi-position. And then again, on this one here, as you can see, I have it as an absolute position. So when I rotate, it now highlights what I'm located on, which again is one of those really cool things. And again, we'll get to the review of the actual wheel later, but it maps to here. So again, that in a nutshell is how you would map a device. I showed a wheel because it's the most complicated of devices that you can actually mess with. Now, I'm going to go back to ATSR Hub Evo. Now, let's say you made a mistake, right? And you made a mistake with how the LEDs were aligned. This will happen, I guarantee you. The problem is currently right now, there's no way of just going in and editing the device. You have to actually completely delete the device and then re-add it. It's very simple. You're just going to click delete device, hit OK. Everything goes away. add new device, universal wheel profile, just import where you already left. This is why it's important to save the preset that you just created. So now that I've saved it, it's all here again. So I can go in, and again, I can go here, mess around. Like I said, I'm going to recommend to Alex, like, yes, this is a 12 position, and I want to capture all 12 positions. The problem is I can't do the one part with the lights because it only has 6 lights. So I'll get with Alex and tell him, hey, can he make this something? And he probably will see this video. But overall, that's how you set up a device. I'm going to go to the next page. I'm going to fix that and make that an ordinary encoder yet again. And then I'm going to leave it there. But again, I can set it so that it recognizes one of these when I switch it and gets the animation. So for example, I can say 116, 124, right? Because that's 116. But we don't want to say 116 because this is a multi-position switch. So it's already going to be highlighted on this. And it's just going to run that pulse animation every time. So I'm going to say 117 to 127. And like I said, this is one of those that Alex is going to have to look into, see if he can implement a feature to make it work the way we want it to work. We're going to reduce that back to 6 so we don't get any. We're going to apply settings. We're going to hit OK. We're going to name it test again. We're going to hit OK. And since it already had, so this way we're good to go. And now the only thing is I'll have to go back and map this again. What I recommend as well, because I didn't do this at the start because foolish me, go ahead and make sure you go ahead and save this. So I'll show you here again, press. And again, I've already created a profile that works. And you can set, again, like I said, a million different animations. This will be absolute position because it's a multi-position switch, and that's how we set it up. And it will get the option to be a multi-position, as you can see here, an absolute position. So we're going to go back to headlight flash. We're going to go to wiper. We're going to go to headlights. We're going to hit OK. We're going to export this preset. Steering wheel effect preset, and we're going to say, let's see, VIRSR. Save. And now, if I turn it once to either one of those two, it'll pulse. But again, everything is set up to operate. Now, you can set up custom themes. Go into open a custom theme editor. You can do different gradients. You can do horizontal gradients. So I can say, I want to do maybe blue, mid color, I want to do yellow, bright color, I want to do green. It's a very interesting color theme I got going on. And then I can go to color themes, hit custom one, and now that's my gradient for my wheel. I would have to set up this for every device to get them to all match. But we're going to go back to the theme we were running, which I do. Let's try the, this is the Scuderia. You've got the McLaren, the Merc theme, the ATSR theme, and so forth. So yeah, you get a bunch of different themes. You've got universal settings that have been revamped and reworked and updated, and he's got different things you can preview. So this is the running animation when you have the pit limiter on, the cyclic, blinking, pulsing, alternating, twin cycle, twin fusion, which is what I run, dual sweep animation, dual shift animation. Yeah, it gets quite a lot of options you have. So I've gone through and played around with what I want to work. When I start the ignition, what happens? Traction control, progressive effects. Like there's so many things you can map. You've got night mode and all the things you can map here. You've got lovely racing integration, which is absolutely awesome that they're working together because they're two people that I absolutely love. Konstantinos and Alex, great guys. Glad I get to be a partner with both of them. And so you can map devices like this. And again, once you get this device, then you'll see like I have my DDU that's here. I have my browse. Now, depending on how your browse is set up, if you have, like I have two browse, but they're individual devices. They're not linked together to do them separately. So what I did was I created a browse left and a browse right. So I can click on left. This is what I wanted to do. Or right, what I want to do. Left is what I'm doing this one. So you'll have to play around with how you have your devices mapped, but you can set up a million different things. I've got my Govee ambient lights. I use them as, instead of using his ambient light feature, I use them as browse because of the segments and how it works on the bottom of my rig. But again, all of these things talk to each other and they're very much in sync. The best thing about this, the best thing, this will work with every wheel you have, and you will not have to have a programmed wheel sent to Alex to be able to do. If you're a manufacturer, the great thing about it is, so for example, VRS, we partner with ATSR to have him make some really cool profiles, right? Which is absolutely great. But as we come out with new devices, like, do we really want to send him every device that we own to have him have a wall of devices? That may not make business sense for some, and I've talked to some that are like, yeah, I'd rather not have to do that. But this ability gives you to map every wheel, and if you're a manufacturer, and you can reach out to Alex at ATSR, and he can work with you on getting custom themed profiles, custom LEDs and functions and multi-position switches and funky knobs and encoders and different animations when you scroll and do all the really cool things. All of that can be done by working with Alex from ATSR, and I think it's a really great tool because it gives us, the end user, the ability to get custom LED profiles on wheels, and you don't have to send him a wheel to make it happen. You can simply work with Alex at ATSR, and I don't know how he sets up contracts. I can't speak to those things because it's his business, but I can tell you as an end user, this is absolutely awesome. I have mapped, as you can see, a litany of wheels. And once you map them, those presets can be sent and shared with other people, which he will build an ATSR preset database of all the wheels and products that he has. So I have the LMP2, the Omega V2, my LMP3 wheel, the Cube Controls F Pro, the Delta Evo, the Bavarian Simtech Alpha. I've got the Astra from Cube Controls. I've got two of them because their wheel is mapped a little bit differently. And then we've just done the VI RSR. I've got a few other wheels that I need to map, but again, this works with my button box, my lap timer, everything that you see here. In fact, there's one that I need to re-add, and let's do that now while we're sitting here. I don't know why it's no longer on here. I probably deleted it and didn't realize it. So we're going to say our flag box. We're going to do this rather quickly. It's very simple. Let's see. We'll just name it flag. Oh, don't want to type that. We don't want to type cigarettes. All right, we've got that mapped there. And see, I have this one currently mapped to my ATSR Hub hub. So we're going to take that one there. I'm not going to do anything and make any changes. We're going to download the ATSR profile. And I thought I had one in here for flags, right? Like, oh, I already have one here. But let's just click save, save, save. And then we're going to go back to, this was an Arduino. We're going to go back to RGB matrix. We're going to profile manager. I'm going to delete this one. We're going to import. I'm going to go back to ATSR. I'm going to look for flag. I'm going to flag. Boy, a lot of flags here. Hit OK. And now click load. Now you'll see that this all goes in sync, and we'll go like this. So this way, if I take off this, you will see the devices are now in sync. What you can't see on the other side is the fact that I have my lap timer and then another LED light here for browse. So this is really simple once you get the hang of it. This is probably a long-winded video, but again, I want to be as thorough as I possibly can. And again, I'll include links to everything that I can think of that would potentially help you out. If you have any questions, please reach out to myself or Alex at ATSR. Again, his link will be down below. He's also a partner, and we partner, and he's in my channel, and I chat in his channel, and we're one big happy family. So, but again, this is absolutely excellent. I think anybody who's everybody should check this out. It's very cool, very important for sim racing, and you know what? I support people who do good things and are not trying to gouge you for every dollar they can get out of you. And this is a great profile, something you can set up on your own. And once you get it, once you use it, you'll absolutely love it, or uh, or you won't. But hey, that's all I got to share today. Hopefully you like this info. If you do like it, like, follow, subscribe, maybe become a member. Maybe let me know what you think of this. Let's offer some advice to Alex on things he can make it even better and give more value to people, because again, I think it's perfect. I think it's excellent. It has this little quirks, but I know that more future updates will come that will make it already better than when I first got it, and it's already 10 times better. So I know in the next year or so it'll be even better. So thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you later. Peace.